is the book of 2nd Maccabees chapter 4 verse 7, all right, in the Apocrypha, all in the King James, reading this to the King James Bible for all to see. It says here, but after the death of Seleucus, right, when Antiochus called Epiphanes, you should all know who he is by now. That's the wicked. That's the Antiochus that's written about in Daniel 7. Epiphanes, yeah, the same one. Took the kingdom, Jason, the brother of Anias, now Jason was an Israelite, so was Anias, labored underhand to be the high priest. So Jason was working underhand to take the high priesthood from his brother Anias, all right? Now let's listen to how the story goes. Promising unto the king by intercession 303 talents in silver and another revenue of 80 talents. So Jason was making all these promises to the king Antiochus, all the things he's going to give him if he helps him to become the high priest in Jerusalem. Beside this, he promised to assign 150 more if he might have license to set him up a place for exercise and for the training up of the youth in the fashions of what? Of the heathen. This is what Jason wanted to do, all right, to please the king Antiochus Epiphanes, and at the same time to usurp his brother Anias so he can become the high priest. So he was doing all of these things to please King Antiochus Epiphanes, right? He says, and to write to them of Jerusalem by the name of the Antiochians, which when the king had granted and he had gotten into his hand the rule, he forthwith brought his own nation of what? To Greekist fashion. This is what that wicked boy Jason did. He brought the nation of Israel to a Greekist fashion. All right? And he did that to please the king Antiochus because he wanted the position of high priest. He wanted to be the man in charge. You know, he wanted to be the bishop, the guy in charge. He wanted to dress in purple and sit in the highest seat in the temple. And you understand? That's who he wanted to be. Now let's read a little bit more. It says, and the royal privileges granted of special favor to the Jews by the means of John, the father of Eupolemus, who went ambassador to Rome for amity and aid, he took away and putting down the governments which were according to the law, he brought up new customs against the law. This is what Jason did. He brought up new customs against the laws, commandments, and statutes. This is all part of his long scheming plan to turn those Israelites into heathens, to make them become Greeks. All right? It gets even more grittier. For he built gladly a place of exercise under the tower itself and brought the chief young men under his subjection and made them wear what? And wear a hat. It's another Greekish fashion. This is why when we always talk about those brothers preaching and prophesying in hats, it's a Greek fashion. This is what, I mean, you know, this is, you had this guy here. Where is he good? This demon here, he's doing the same thing. He was there reading and quoting the Bible. He was preaching wearing a hat, a Greekish fashion. This is what we say about Sakari. When we see Sakari preaching and praying in a hat, prophesying in a hat, it is a custom of the Greeks. This is why we implore them to not preach and prophesy in hat. What does it take for them to put down their hat for a couple of hours while they're preaching and prophesying the Bible? What is it? What is it that they have to have on a hat? It's a Greek fashion. It's a heathen fashion. So even the Sakari are still holding on to some Greek customs. That's why Paul, when he wrote to the Corinthians, and Paul says, when he says, it's a shame for a man to have his head covered, all right? I believe it's in the book of Corinthians. Is it in Corinthians? It is in the book of Corinthians. When he says, is it 11? 1 Corinthians chapter 11. Let me see. I may be wrong. Probably am wrong. There's a man with that woman. Yeah, I'm right. Let me just quickly pull it up on the screen. All praise to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. I was right. Spirit of the Lord. All praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. I wasn't sure if it was Corinthians chapter 11, but it was. That's all praises to our Lord and Savior Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. This is why Paul wrote this letter to the church of Corinth, because they was one of the churches that was going off the most out of all of the 7 churches that he wrote these letters to, right? And this is why Paul said this. The Apostle Paul said this, all right? 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 7, all right? Let's get it up on the screen. It says here, for a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for so much as he is the image and the glory of Yahweh, but the woman is the glory of the man. So, and I think if I go up here, okay, let's go up because that's kind of skipped a part. It says here, 1 Corinthians 11, verse 4, it says, every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonors his head. Why did Paul write that to the church of Corinthians? Because it was a Greek fashion that we took on, that the Israelites took on in these colonies in throughout Turkey, what we know today as Turkey and Asia Minor, and you know where these places were. It was a Greek fashion. This is why Paul put this in his letter to the church of Corinth. Every man praying and prophesying, having his head covered, dishonors his head. So when we go to 2 Maccabees chapter 4, verse 12, when it says, for he built gladly a place of exercise, that's Jason, the wicked high priest that usurped Onias, under the tower itself, and brought the chief young men. This is what Zechariah has done. He's brought all of the chief young men under his subjection. He's done the same thing that Jason has done. This is what Zechariah has done to his organization. It's exactly what he's done. He's brought all of these young men under subjection and he's made them wear a hat, family. It's a Greek fashion. So when we're saying this about Zechariah, we're not saying this because we've got hate for the brother. We're saying this because we're hoping that he repents and comes around. You don't need to, it's a Greek fashion. You're not meant to be wearing your hat when you're praying and prophesying. Let the vocab Malones of this world do it, because this guy is a demon. He's a heathen. Let these heathens do it. Let them preach and prophesy their bullshit with their hats covered. But we that know we are Israelites, that are no longer consider ourselves Gentiles, should not be doing that, because it's biblical. So please don't get upset when we call these guys out for that, because it is a Greek fashion. And that's why the Apostle Paul wrote this to the church in Corinth. Every man praying, 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 4, and prophesying, having his head covered, dishonors his head. Every man. But every woman that prays and prophesies with her head uncovered, dishonors her head. So a woman should cover her head when she's doing it, but a man is not meant to. For that is even all one as if she were shaven. For if the woman be not covered, let her also be shorn. But if it be a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, let her be covered. For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for so much as he is the image and the glory of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, but the woman is the glory of the man. So don't get it twisted, ladies. You're under our thumb, and you will be in the kingdom, but in a beautiful way. All right? So when we see these heathens doing it, let them get on with it. We don't give a damn. I don't give a damn if you don't give a damn. We don't give a damn. Let vocab do it. Let him cover his head and bring, because these are not the children of Israel. These are heathens, but we should not be doing it. So when we go back to the book of Maccabees, all right, as it says, verse 13 now, it says, now such was the height. Listen, family. Now such was the height of Greek fashion. Wearing the hat was the height of Greek fashion. Do you really think we at GMS, Great Millstone, are going off when we call out Sakari and his organization for wearing hats while they're prophesying, preaching? That could be the line between their salvation or not getting salvation, because they have been told and warned many, 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 many times from the apostles of Great Millstone going down, the elders, the bishops, The other brothers in Great Millstone continuously warned them about this. Because what they do, you can wear your hat in your own time. You can wear your hat wherever you want to go, to the park, to the cinema, dinner, wherever you want to do. But when you're preaching and prophesying, you must take off your hat, because you've lost all respect for the Most High Yahweh and the Son Yahweh Shai. So the Maccabees are pointing out here, now such was the height of Greek fashion, an increase of heathenish manners, through the exceeding profaneness of Jason. So the Lord is telling you, it's a profane act to be wearing your hat while you're preaching, because that's like you've completely accepted the Greek fashion. Let Vocab, Hey Man Malone do that, but you guys at Sakari, man, you better fix up, man. I'm serious, man. I can't understand this knucklehead of you guys. This, you know, I'm gonna wear this hat because I can wear this hat. I can't understand that attitude. I truly can't. So it says, this was, and the increase of the heathenish manners through the exceedingly profaneness of Jason, that ungodly wretch, and no high priest. What does Sakari call himself? Chief high priest. You better be careful that friggin' Sakari Al-Azhar is not chief high priest. It's not Jason in the reincarnation, boy. You better pray that that's not who he is in the reincarnation, because he is truly leading a whole outfit to take on these heathenish manners while they're prophesying and praying. He's leading a whole outfit to do that. And it's written clearly in the Bible. It's a heathenish manner. So let's